is everybody doing today? Got a new segment for you in case you might have missed it, which I'm going to go through some albums from last year that we may not have touched base on or reviewed that kind of impressed me, and going back and revisiting, you know, in case you missed it, last year there was a Skeleton Pit album called Lusta, Lynch. Now this is the second album by this band. First album was in 2015. This one was released in October of 2020, and man, it's just a killer thrash album. I was super impressed with it. It came from a recommendation from a community member, and honestly, I can't remember what video that was. There's so many of them that we have, it's hard to go back through and like find that one comment amongst the hundreds. But either way, thank you for the community for recommending this band. It kind of blew me away, and I've been listening to this album a lot. I do have the vinyl on order, and it's coming from Germany, so whenever the hell that gets here. But Skeleton Pit, you got three members, three-piece group. Pat Options is the guitarist and the vocalist, and you have Lizard Chandler doing duties on drums, and then Doyle Fascinator on bass. Now, they're on MDD Records, which is a German-based record label. They join with Darkfell and Mind Reaper. I think Grand Sermon's on there, too. Man, this is just a killer album. If you like thrash, you like just no bullshit thrash. Just straight to the point. There's no political crap to it. It's just fun lyrics, chugging riffs. It reminds you a lot of like Testament, Exodus, Anthrax. I get in here. The title track opening up is a huge intro, classic, really just clean guitar, kind of drums pounding, building up to the second song, which is Violent Raid, and it comes right off the bat, just screaming thrash. You know what you're getting into the album with this first song. Like I said, it's just no bullshit. It's just riff city, man. Just fun lyrics, stuff you don't have to like really deep dive into some big idea around some thing. It's just fun lyrics. There's no, I mean, he doesn't take it too seriously, but they take it seriously, if that makes sense. Like I said, Exodus is through this album a lot. Come on, when you got a song called Thrashercism, I mean, his album's got to be badass, right? That song in particular kind of speaks old school Anthrax to me. Plague of Violence, the verse riff is just insanely badass. Again, just thrash metal at its finest, man. Awaken the Claw is a fun song, and then the last song, Evil Horde. It's a killer song, A. B, that outro, basically the end of that album. Like, that outro is like a perfect send-off, and it sounds like just an evil horde marching off into the distance, and it just carries on for infinity, and you know, this horde will never end. And it's the song title and the way the music is around it, I mean, it tells a story on its own. It's a really cool song and a really cool outro. One of the better outros I think I've heard. It's a good send-off. It's a good closing. It's a good bookend. You got these really nice bookends in this album. You have this really like typical kind of thrash big opening with some clean guitars, big build-up, you know, drums are building up constantly. It's like a minute and a half of this build-up into that just chugging thrash. And then the outro, like I said, is just a really good send-off. It's a nice fade out to this really driving kind of drum pattern that's just a marching pattern. And you have these repeating guitar riffs that are close-ended, so the notes resolve into each other and very well. And it's just like, you could see that outro just repeating on infinite and just continuing on while the army of the dead march into their next battle. But enough about me rambling on about this album. I was fortunate enough to get a chance to talk to Pat from Skeleton Pit from Germany and interview him about the album. Now, this is something that I want to try and keep going with this segment, is kind of like, okay, let's revisit some of these albums, but let's talk to the people that made the albums. So far, one for one. So we'll keep her going or try to. And without further ado, here's the interview with Pat. Welcome, Thrallers. Miller here. I got a special treat for you. We got Pat from Skeleton Pit. Now, I've been talking about this band for a little bit. You just saw my review for the new segment here. In case you missed it, this is an album last year from Lusta, Lynch. Fantastic album. It came on a recommendation from actually a community member like you. So we're gonna get this going, and we got Pat here. Hello, Pat.
Hey, what's up, Josh? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for joining me from all the way from Germany. It's awesome to do it. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you taking the time out. A couple questions, because man, this that album kind of blew me away when I listened to it. I'm a riffer, man. I love just chugging riffs and just good thrash. And dude, that album, it's where it's at, man. It's Riff City. So first off, like, how did the band start? How did you guys form? You guys go to school together, or?
Yeah, exactly. We were friends since our childhood, maybe kindergarten, or I don't know, when we were 4 or 5 or something like that.
A long time.
We grew up together. Yeah, we did a lot of shit together in our childhood, and one day, I think it was 2006, I think. Yeah, we just said, let's start a band, and at that time, just our drummer did music.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, no, we cannot do that. We don't play instruments. And then just it and start playing it. And the first years have been just a little bit trying out the cover Metallica and all that well-known bands. And then we started to look at our own style, and
yeah, nice.
We've been around from 2006 to 2014 as the band Pistols. Maybe you have read about that.
Pistols?
Yeah.
Pistols. I did not. Pistols.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I can give you
send me a link, stuff. Man.
Yeah.
Dude, that would
be more
killer.
Like hard rock, or it's heavy metal. And then we started to get more into thrash metal, and we changed the style a little bit. And then we said, the name is not good for a thrash metal band. It's more like punk style or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then we said, let's just rename and started a project from new. And since that point, it was all good.
So how did you come up with Skeleton Pit?
Oh, that's a good question. We just sat together and then threw a few cool words in the room, and then
just throw spaghetti at the wall.
I don't know how. There's no direct...
that's funny, but usually that's how it works. Like someone comes up with something on a whim, you know, he's sitting on the shitter, you know, and a Skeleton Pit would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
and it was important for us that no other band is called that, because sometimes it's a problem. You Google a band and then you see there are 3 other bands with the same name. Which one is it? And it was really important for us. And that's a good thought. And a lot of people, a lot of bands don't think about that, you know, and then they run into problems. So we've had some other bands that, you know, they'll come out with a name. Well, come to find out 10 years ago, there was a band by that name, and now that guy's going to sue you because he had that name first. So that's happened a few times, which is unfortunate. Especially when you got a band. I'm trying to think what album that was. Me and Nick just did a retro review of it, and there was a similar band title, and nowhere near. I mean, this guy had like 3 songs on some random website, you know, from 20 years ago, but he won the suit because he had the name first, and he happened to license it as an LLC for the state. So yeah, it's super important. You know, Google search. Okay, who's getting this? Who's getting that? But I love the name. Like just the name alone. When I saw that comment, he's like, "Hey, have you checked out the new Skeleton Pit album? I'm curious to see what you guys think of that." I'm like, Skeleton Pit? That sounds like right up my alley. It was important for us to have a name. When you read it, you know what's inside of it. It's thrash metal for us, and I think
it fits.
Very good.
It definitely fits.
It's a really good name, yeah.
Now you kind of answered this before. So when you guys shifted gears to more thrash metal, what prompted that? Was it just the music that you guys were kind of getting into at that time? You're, you know, listening to a little more like Kill 'Em All and Exodus, and I mean, because there's a lot of like I hear a lot of like old school Anthrax, SOD, you know, especially in some of the riffing and stuff like that. What kind of influences made that change for you?
I think the most important influence was maybe Testament.
Oh, Testament.
And like you already said, Exodus, because I'm a real big Gary Holt fan.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think these two bands are the bands which influenced us the most. But a lot of other, even the younger thrash bands from the US, like Warbringer, Havoc, and all that, we all love them. So, but they grew in the same time as we.
mm-hmm.
I think so. The basic influence was Testament and Exodus.
Yeah, and that's a good influence for anybody. Those if you can have those two bands, you know, you're going to be doing it right. Especially if you guys are writing riffs like you guys do. You know, what as terms of gear, are you like a gearhead or are you like a Tom Morello from Rage? Like, these are the settings, I'm going to keep them for 20 years. I don't give a shit. Or are you kind of a gearhead?
Let's say in between. Most of the years I was just I had my settings and just said go to hit the stage and hit. But when you get older, yeah, you want to make it a little bit better. You have a tweak there on the sound, or you get into another guitar and you play it, and oh, I need this and all that. So a little bit in between. I would not say I'm the guy who sits 5 hours in the rehearsal room and changes the settings, but of course I want to have a good sound, and sometimes it comes with a little bit of just tweaking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, do you use you good with are you like physical instruments and analog, or do you use VST plugins and stuff like that, like Amplitube or any of those other ones? I know the Kemper system is one that I've been looking at for a while.
I for myself play Kemper since 1.5 years.
Okay.
We always have been the hardware guys. We want big full stacks and everything on the stage, but but we had a rehearsal room in third floor, and after every show we had to put it up there and bring it down. Then we started saying let's do it a little bit more simple. It's of course it doesn't look like the old full stack, but
carrying that 810 amp peg up.
Yeah. It's so much easier, and when you're on the road, you want to have the easy stuff. We just have everything now in one rack: the bass amp, the Kemper, our wireless guitar sets, and all awesome. That. So we just have one rack, put it in the bus, and just go out, put the cable in, and we are ready in maybe 5 minutes.
Oh wow! So it's like you and Doyle are just like carrying their thing while the drummer's just
while the drummer is setting the drums up. We drink our first beer, so
that's funny. So our Shred Lord, one of the other guys on the Thralls and Metal channel, he's he's a killer guitarist. He just switched over to a Kemper system and he really enjoys it. So I haven't made that switch yet, but I have, I use Amplitube and stuff like that, all the VSTs, and man, a lot of those, especially in the last few years, have gotten really good with their samples. I tried, what was the first, the Dime Bag sample that I think IK Multimedia had, and that was off the recommendation from, I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank, man. I'm so tired. But it came off a recommendation from a YouTuber, essentially. And I was like totally blown away with it. The sounds you could get out of it. And then I started.
Maybe you mean Ola England.
Ola England, yeah. Man, I'm not an overly huge fan of the band, but I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah, me as well.
He's just
really
an
like
awesome
him,
dude, man. And he's so sincere.
At the moment, I have a solar guitar here.
Oh, really?
I tried out. It's his company, and a friend of mine said he really liked the guitars, and just ordered one and tried out, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And what guitar did you use on the album? Are you kind of switch between guitars, or?
No, I just used one guitar, my Gary Holt signature LTD.
Oh, nice. Yeah, LTD. I
don't know if you know it, the black red one.
Yep.
I really like the look of it and the active pickups, and
Yeah, I always switch between active and passive, man.
It's the same for
I
me.
have well, my brother has my ESP now, but I have it was the ESP Kirk Hammett before it was the Kirk Hammett. I think it was the M350 or something like that, or M something. This is a while ago.
It's called KH, I think.
Yeah, right now it's a KH something.
600,
whatever. But
I think.
Before it was Kirk's signature, back in it was a while ago, but it was the M something. I haven't had it in like 18 years because my brother's had it. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix it." 18 years later, he ain't fixing shit. But I use my Thunderbird for my bass, and I got my trusty Les Paul, and actually this guitar I found. This is a Mexican Strat from the 80s.
Yeah,
and honestly, it plays better than some Americans now, because for whatever reason, those 80s ones in Mexico were just killer, and don't really play a Strat too much, but
I want to have a Strat as well, but most of the time I just play metal. So
yep. And although a Strat I've seen to work, like if I'm going, because I have a bunch of different things that I kind of do. So if you want that, like that I don't know what that high end kind of like real old school thrashy, that high end, it's not like no deep to it, no bass to it. It's really like MIDI trebly, just to get that old sound. I found that the Strat with the dual humbuckers work really well with that. Single coils probably.
Could imagine it,
give it a shot. If you can find an old school Strat with two humbuckers, it's a killer setup to use for some things, but I mean, nothing beats a fucking Les Paul in my eyes. But the difference between the first album, the second album, now as far as the songs and stuff like that, you saw everything getting better, everything getting tighter. The production was a little bit better. Did you guys make a conscious effort to like listen to this? Okay, this is the things that we want to change in terms of recording and stuff. And to that effect too, do you do the recording yourself, or do you go somewhere and then send it off to get mastered?
First of all, to be honest, we didn't look with this kind of eyes to our old album. We just said, make some new things, try a little bit what we can do. And honestly, we needed a long time to get the songs for the new album. We always wanted to do a new album, and then we delayed it. We had a change. Our drummer, which is back at the moment, was out of the band for, I think, 1.5 years. So we changed the drummer, and we had a lot of stuff around. And then when he came back, we said, okay, let's do a new album.
Okay.
And we changed the songs. We had, I think, 3 or 4 songs were already finished, and then we changed them and made them new, and got this part out of the song, put it into another one, and it needed such a long time. And but the real recording started at the beginning of 2020, I think.
And, okay, so you guys got that pretty quick then.
We had a lot of ideas a few years, but the real recording stuff started in early 2020, and we did it at my place, in this room actually. Recorded it at home, and then we sent it out to our friend Marcel from Glidefrog Studios. He did our first album as well, and
now that's a South Park reference, isn't it?
Yeah.
That has to be South Park.
Today I asked him because
I saw it. I was like, wait a minute, that's South Park. I was like, it has to be a South Park. Where the else would that come from? So I was right. It was South Park.
You've been right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
and he's a good friend of us, and we were really happy of the approach he did our first album. So we said, let's record it at home and just send him the stuff. And he
it saves so much money
again. And the first thing is it saves a lot of money, and the second thing is we have always been inside of the process of recording, of course, because we did it, and mastering, because he always sent us the stuff back. Hey, come guys, hear it. what do you want to change? And so you can say from the artwork of the album until the finished product of the songs, we've in everything been really close to all the stuff, and we decided what we wanted. So there's nothing,
awesome.
No send it out and get it back and just listen to it, and that's the finished product.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll send it out to get mastered, and you send it out with your, your stack of, your 1G, and you get back a master, and like, it's kind of, like, well, it's $1,000.
And we know a lot of bands. It happened to a lot of bands, and we didn't want to do that, so.
It's really hard.
We're really happy about it, and.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of that too. I record bands and I do that. So yeah, but I'm always sending, okay, this is first pass. What do you got? Any recommendations or whatever, depending on whether I'm mastering or recording, there's differences in what I ask and what I'm doing. If I'm mastering something, then it's basic stuff, but I always ask, but there's a lot of them that don't. So you guys doing it by yourself is smart. It really is. And the recording's great, man. It really is. And I noticed that it did get tighter from the first album. So there is a little bit of a difference there. Because I really like the sound of that. That second recording in particular.
I think the reason why it is tighter is because we did it at home, so we had much more time doing it. Sometimes when you're in a studio, you have to do all songs in 1 week, maybe. And
dude,
now we could
$150 an hour.
Now we could do one songs in 4 weeks. That's not perfect. Just hear it without gain, just clean, and there was a little bit. Just do it again, and that's the reason maybe why it's.
That's super smart, especially with the way VSTs are and the DAWs are. I mean, you got all that stuff in a MacBook,
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, yep.
You see my setup, it's nothing big, so.
Yeah, mine too.
MacBook interface and just put your guitar in and a little bit of recording skill maybe, but that's it.
Yeah. And what kind of interface do you use?
I have a, how is it called? Look, Scarlett.
Oh yeah, the Foresight
the
Scarlett,
the small red one. Yeah,
the 2-channel, the Scarlett.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. That's dude, those are great. Those are great little systems. I almost bought that. I use a Behringer, the HD, because I'm a big fan of Midas preamps. Midas preamps are very clean, very crisp preamps. But if you look up a Mackie Onyx. A Mackie Onyx board. They're brand new. They're not even out yet, but dig into that. Since you're the one recording stuff, you may appreciate that. That's something I got pre-ordered right now for my studio. Check those out. Mackie Onyx. Great boards and pretty inexpensive actually. So you run everything into that 2-channel then, even for drums? Or do you have an 8-channel?
No, we did it just after another.
Oh, okay. So tracking.
Actually,
go ahead.
Did at a friend, so we didn't do the drums at my place, just editing and all that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you tracked them with full track. Okay, because I've been there before. When I started, I had this cheap Behringer, just a live mixer, and I ran everything into. Actually, it was a 1-channel Personas. Okay. So the mix that I had on that board at that time was it. It was fixed. There was no doing anything to it. I could overall the drums, but that's not the way to record, ladies and gents. It's a pain in the ass. So what made you decide to write everything predominantly in English?
First of all, of course, because our main influences are English bands or American bands like Testament and Exodus, and we heard that since we were young guys. And I think the second thing is we are not really into German music.
Okay.
Maybe when you hear some pop songs, maybe sometimes it's cool. It could be cool, but German metal is not how it's meant to be, in my opinion. And we leave that to Rammstein or
I was going to say Rammstein. which is, I still like those guys, but their latest stuff is not that good. I still think Herzlite is one of the
I saw them live 2 times last year.
Oh, I bet that would have been, dude. Their show, it looks.
If you like their music, or if you don't like it, you have to see the live show. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I can only imagine, and I'm a fan of them. So, actually, when I first kind of made that transition from like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and I started getting into heavier stuff, it was Rammstein. You know, of course, Du Hast was over here, and you hear him go on Du Hast, and I was like, holy shit.
To listen to, because the riffs are so clear.
Oh, and they're just easy. I mean, that song is essentially 3 notes. Da da dun 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 da da dun 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 da 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 da. You know.
But if you try it out in a rehearsal room, you never will get the punch they have. So that's the difficult thing behind it.
No, the punch, the drive, the everything, and seeing that song performed live, even I could only imagine, man. That would be so cool to see those guys
over the whole stadium. And
really, they don't give a shit. Light everything on fire.
My seat was like 200 meters away, and my face burned off almost. So it's
like in the States being at a Pantera concert.
Yeah,
where they well, they had their last setup in 01 before, unfortunately they disbanded. So they had the big stage and they had the Pantera logo, and they light the whole thing up on fire, especially during Hellbound, the song Hellbound. When that came up, boom, fire everywhere. And of course, I'm right in front, right by Dime. And it's just, like you said, melting your damn face off. But fortunately, I was very fortunate to see Pantera live a couple times. So, so what types of things inspire your writing? Now, you've mentioned a few bands, but is there anything outside of metal or even in nature? I mean, there's some inspiration everywhere from music. Just going out in nature and hearing sounds, clicking it together. Your windshield wipe, pop, 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 pop. Like jamming.
For us, it's first I have to say we are a really unpolitical band, so we don't make lyrics about political issues or anything like that.
That's one of my favorite things about you guys.
Yeah.
It's just good jamming music.
and the other thing is just fictional stuff, zombies and books, movies. I don't know if you noticed, but 2 of our songs in the new album are with a few. How can you say, with things from Rambo and Predator from the movies.
Really? Which ones?
Yeah. The Last Blood.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. I'm horrible with song titles because I usually just get in and just hit play and it just
listen to the lyrics of Last Blood and Challenge to Kill, and maybe you will notice a few.
I liked the fact that you don't have any big political thing going on, or it's just, for me, when I listen to what you guys are doing, it's straight up good thrash, A, and B, it's just fun to listen to because you don't have to get into those thoughts of like any sort of negativity, or it's just fun. It's just fun thrash metal. And you guys are definitely doing it right. So how, like the new stuff, how do you guys write that typically? Do you do like full jams together, or is it something like, because I know Meshuggah does this, where because they live in different countries over there, so Thomas will have something, he'll send it to the other, and they'll just kind of send stuff digitally around. Do you guys do that, or is it a combination of live jams and digital?
The last album was mainly with our live jams or rehearsal. We came together and just tried a few things. But this time, as the time we wrote the songs, we were a 3-piece band, but we had an on-off story with the drummer.
Yeah.
So we have been just 2 guys, Doyle and me. So we just met at home and sat in front of the PC and just riffing around, trying, recording, and then just put this riff, put it to the side, made the next riff, and then when you have a library from riffs, just sometimes put it together.
Okay, so you do that where you have a whole thing of just like like I do, like 20-30 second just snips, and you're trying to find pieces. And
most of the time, yes. Sometimes you just, like you said, you drive in your car and you see the wiper, and you have an idea. We have to do that, or you listen to a song from another band and say, oh, this part, the drums, they are so good. Let's do a part like this, and then you try to find a riff in your library which fits, and
that's good.
So it comes together, but
especially
try and error.
Yeah. I mean, being a guitarist, I'm sure you're just sitting in your computer like I am, just writing, jamming out 2 or 3 riff segments, you know, because I mean, when it comes down to it, songwriting, if you got 4 riffs, you got a song.
Yeah.
Really. When it boils down to it.
Sometimes even 2 are good enough.
Yeah. I was going to say,
if you're good enough for us, because we love to have 20 riffs inside of a song.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how you guys would get a whole
riffs,
yeah. Especially, like I was going to say, pop music. I mean, shit, The Weeknd writes everything in the key of C and only in octaves of C. They only have 1 note.
But
really.
It works, yeah.
But yeah,
if you want to be successful with music, you should do it like that. But if you want to have fun and
yeah, you know, and I got on my brother a little bit because he was like, oh, that's such shit. I was like, dude, the bottom line is you're in an apartment in fucking Ohio and he's making millions, you know, so obviously, you know, you got to give a little bit of respect. Even if you don't like the music, you got to respect them for,
that's
you know, at least
everybody who is doing that, especially for living, playing big stages. No matter if you like the music or not, you have to respect the work which is behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, wouldn't we went through the recording process and you do everything in home, which I'm a huge fan of. How long did that recording take for the new album? I know you started in 2020 and it was released in 2020, so it had to have been pretty quick.
Early 2020 we started, and we finished the recordings, I would say, in July.
Okay, so it was, I mean, you released it in October, late October, right?
Yeah, it was really close. So yeah, we wanted to release in summer on a big festival we wanted to play, but COVID-19 destroyed everything. So we said, okay, let's take this year, and we have a few weeks more to do it. So we changed a few things and made it a little bit better. And then we finished in July. And the guy from Clyde Frog really did a fast job. I think 3 or 4 weeks he was done. And in August, we gave it to our label.
Nice. So the label is obviously they're completely fine with you guys doing it the way you're doing, which is awesome, because a lot of labels are like, nah, you guys are going to do it here or do this. And so your label is pretty open with you guys. They give you free range to basically
totally.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which we wanted when we discussed with them for the new album, and they said, do it how you want it. They heard our last album and they said it was really good. They trust us. So
that's awesome.
We put them what we had, and
dude, you guys got lucky, because that doesn't happen a lot.
I know.
So that's great, and I love hearing that, especially with bands that have a bright future, which you guys do. It's good to see that labels are giving you the freedom to do whatever. They're not coming in, well, maybe you guys shouldn't put any solos in here because solos don't sell. Well, f you, I want to play a solo, you know. So that's great. That's great news. I'm really glad to hear that. So that you guys you have it like an extended deal with them, or is it just album by album?
Let's say we have a mixed deal. It's just for this album, but we have optional things inside the contract.
Okay, nice.
Maybe make a few more.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't want to go into super deep.
Just see how it works out. Both parties say that we want a successful partnership, and if we don't have this, when we have a clash or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, that's great. That's really good. Because like I said, you guys feel lucky because it doesn't happen a lot.
A lot of bands we know put the signature under a contract with says 5 albums in 6 years, so maybe we didn't want to do that. So
that's smart. Yeah. That's really smart. Now, when now the Clyde Frog is a South Park reference, but so the quarantine for you guys, it's been relaxing? Or are you guys writing? I mean, you guys are working on the album and finishing that up, so there wasn't really any relaxing for you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, the first few months of 2020 have not been relaxing, but because of the album. But after we finished that, yeah, you sit at home most of the time and not doing anything, so it's more relaxing.
Playing Xbox,
but yeah, PS5 and
well, that's PC. Good. Because I'm sure once this stuff gets lifted, it's going to be go time as far as touring. Now, are you guys planning on coming over to the US to tour in like 2022?
Honestly, a lot of guys asked us this question, but we would love to do that. But in the end, there's let's say a big things around that. So logistics and all that, and you need other bands to come with you, or you have to make deals with other bands in the US, and you need I think you need a work permit to make live shows in the US. And
and I know the big
European
thing
bands, it's not so easy when you're not a big band.
I know that. We even just going from the US to Canada the few times that I've had to the one thing I can recommend is, although it sounds like shitty because you want to use your stuff, it's a lot easier to get through customs if you just rent your equipment when you're over in the States.
So I can have your camper maybe when we are.
Oh, Joe would totally let you use his camper.
You will buy one.
You take Joe; he'll be your guitar tech.
Sure,
Guys
will
probably hire
flash drive and then with my sound on it. And I think a lot of big bands do that as well. I even heard Gary Hole saying this. He has a USB stick with his sounds on it, and he has a camper in Europe, which is stored somewhere here.
Super easy. Super easy to get through. You got your little bag of picks and your USB stick, and there you go. Super easy. But even back before the Kemper stuff, a lot of bands that I knew would they would rent all their equipment. That's usually
a better approach to do it there.
Yeah. Because man, when you filling out those customs forms, everything has to be on there to the last pick. And if they're not, it's like, oh, you put on here you had a dozen picks. I only see 11 of these motherfuckers. Well, then
I can't remember which band it was, but I read from I think it was Crysis from Spain.
Yeah.
I think it was Crysis, but I can't remember. They were at the customs in the US, and they couldn't get in because they had such forms that didn't.
Yep, and that's
stuff put in it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a
actually to fly back, so
Jammin' John from the channel. Me and him are big fans of a band called Iron Dissonance, and they're from Canada. And we were supposed to see them. They're supposed to be at this really small venue in Toledo, and we are super stoked because we're seeing this band that we really like at this shithole that holds like there's probably going to be 20 people there. I wanted more people there for the band, but I was excited because man, I'm going to get to hang out with these guys. And we get there and we find out that they got held up in customs and they couldn't come over, and they denied them entry because of, again, something was just one little thing, one little cable extra or one little pick extra. And they're like, well, why didn't you claim this on your form? Well, like, motherfucker, it was in the back of my backpack. I didn't see that one penny. Sorry. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's almost like
the thing is our drummer and the bass player, they have 2 kids, both of them.
Oh, okay, so that's important.
It makes it a little bit more difficult to do things like touring in the US, but like you said, it's a dream for us, and hopefully one day we will do it. Let's see how the COVID-19 thing,
how all that shit works
out, and all that shit works out. First of all, I hope we can have a concert even here in Germany. So
yeah. Now, how has that been over there? Have you guys been under like very strict quarantine the whole time, or Yep. We
still are. And a few weeks ago, they made it a little bit softer. They said, you can go shopping, but everything was closed for a few months, and now the numbers are higher again, and I think this week they will close again.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's really hard in Germany, but I don't know.
Eventually.
The people don't like it. Everybody's running on the streets. So there are a lot of protests and all that. So I think you know that in the US.
I mean, the US is, I don't know.
We split all the people. So a lot of people say, yeah, do it like that, and just close all the shops, and the other, open it again, and like civil war. No, not as bad as that, but if we do it a few years like this, we will get one. So
yeah, and we got that going on too amongst all the other social things that the US has. It's just everybody's an idiot over here, and I'm just sitting here with popcorn, just watching everyone just kill each other basically. But when the smoke settles, I'll come around.
For us, the lockdown isn't the best thing because we have all three guys have a good job and all that, but if you have to look how you get the money, it's quite hard at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of people everywhere that are going through that, and I definitely feel for them. I'm pretty fortunate. Me and my wife are in positions, she cuts people open and I have to deliver shit. So people need cut open and people need their shit delivered. So we've been working our asses off all year, unfortunately.
Same for us.
So right now, what's in your playlist? What's going through your iTunes? What's in your playlist?
The last few days it was Angelus Apatrida. I don't know. Do you know them?
No.
It's a Spanish band, just right out. They are awesome. A few weeks back, I was at an American podcast as well, and I recommended the band to him, and now he's the biggest fan of them. So maybe I will do the same here.
How do you spell that?
Angelus, like angel, and US.
Yep.
And then APATR Apatrida.
There it is, Angelus Apatrida. All right.
Just check them out.
Yep, I got them.
One of our favorite bands, so we really love them. So and they released a new album 3 weeks ago. So.
Oh well, there we go.
That's the main thing on my playlist. And apart from that, the old stuff, a lot of Testament and Exodus and all that. Havoc.
Yeah, Havoc. I just listened to Havoc yesterday when we were driving up, going somewhere for my birthday. I was like, I want to listen to Havoc.
I love him.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I'm trying not to blow so much smoke up your guys' ass because I'm a big fan, but the Skeleton Pit Radio on Google Music. Anyone that uses Google Music, look up Skeleton Pit, click the radio. You will not be disappointed. It's all Testament, Exodus, Havoc, old Metallica. You guys are on there, Megadeth. I mean, it's just everything good about music. So yeah, check that one out. Yeah. Like I said, you guys have got a bright future, man. I'm a big fan of you guys. I'm really hoping that you guys get over to the States. You guys need anything, equipment, we got all that, man. You guys could just fly over here in your boxers and we got you covered, bro. So
let's stay in contact.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And to all of the Thrallers out there, thank you so much. If you liked everything here, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications and all that good jolly shit. And we'll let you know when more stuff's coming. I got the Skeleton Pit vinyl on the way. It's going to take a while, so I will be doing a vinyl segment on that. I got a couple Fu Manchus coming up. I got Reinventing the Steel 20th anniversary. I still have just sitting right here. A couple of vinyl things too. But Pat, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Have a good time and stay healthy.
All right, hopefully that wasn't like too long for you, but I really appreciate Pat taking time out of his day to talk to us and give us kind of a background of where they started and what they did, and because some of his thought process on stuff, and we touched a little bit on on the COVID stuff there to see how they're doing over there overseas. But man, what a great guy. Really cool guy. We ended up talking for a little bit after the interview and just kind of bullshitting around. We'll definitely stay in touch. And yeah, again, thank you, Pat, and thank you, Thrallers. And like I'd said in the end of that interview, if you want to get notified, you got to subscribe, you got to hit the notifications, give us some love on there. We got the Patreon that is should be up. Got that going. We got a podcast on there, usually about an hour-long podcast we'll have on there. Trying to work out some other things for Patreon specific. But go check it out. Check it out, thrallsofmetal.com, all the social medias. Jammin' John's got that all wrapped up. But until next time, this is Milla.